Welcome to Screen Source episode 41. We've made it.
Nice.
Wow.
I know. Crazy, right? Right? Look at that face. That is the face of...
We are going to make it to 50, and we're going to do something special.
We
guys.
should
true.
make it to
That's
50.
true.
Right?
Like, I'm going to be around for a while. Like, come on.
Yeah, we can shave our
No!
Episode 50, not the age 50.
Right.
I'm not shaving my head.
Maybe
Want to shave my head?
Sure, I'll shave your head. This hair
when we
is
turn
literally...
50.
It's part of my...
All
My
bets
head's
are off.
already shaved. So.
Today's been crazy. A lot of San Diego Comic-Con stuff.
Yeah.
We've been doing kegels at the table the whole time.
Everyone
The
is
entire
giggling
time.
right
We're
now.
kegling at the moment.
You can't
Every
tell,
day
can
I'm
you?
giggling.
If you don't understand what's
Yes.
going on, this is a film and television news reviews and trailers show. So we're going to start off at the top with the Boy Erased trailers. Anybody know anything about?
I
Boy
feel like I might have
think I've
seen
seen
it.
it. Yeah, but I don't
just
remember.
watched this, and I
I don't
had
know.
no idea what it was going into it.
Okay,
and
so we'll be coming in fresh.
Lucas
Cool.
Maybe I don't know.
is
Maybe I didn't see
awesome.
this.
He's the guy from Lady Bird.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's the one that. Yeah, we won't
Yep.
spoil Lady
Yep.
Bird. Yeah, you
Right.
gotta watch Lady Bird.
I have
Jesus.
Oh
We
my
do.
God, so good.
Cool. All right, let's get it
I
started.
don't watch.
Okay.
I'll skip it.
Oh,
Copy that.
Let's say we are watching.
Jared,
nice.
I want you to do well. I want you to have a great life. I love you, but we cannot see a way that you can live under this roof if you're going to fundamentally go against the grain of our beliefs.
Oh, fuck you.
Tell me the truth, that's all.
I think about men. I don't know why. And I'm so sorry.
That eye twitch.
Right.
Your parents signed you up for a program to fix you, but
Oh my God.
perfectly
No, I have.
normal,
Oh my God.
very healthy teenage boy.
They're gonna do things for you.
Yes.
They are going to do things to you. It's called
Wow.
torture.
Oh
You
my
want to
God.
say goodbyes?
This is based on a true story.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Cannot be born a
It's based
homosexual.
Yeah.
specifically on a
It's a choice.
Go, fake it till you make it. Become the man you are not. Save yourself.
Is that Flea?
Jared, God will not love you the way that you are.
Is this what you want? Who's gonna strike this demon down? Hit him!
directed the film.
Nice.
I
I'm
can't
having
watch
a tough
this.
time. I'm gonna give you some advice. Tell them whatever they want to hear. Play the part. Unless you really think you can change. Or even want to.
What you're going through right now is just a moment.
A moment. Yeah. A moment.
I love God, and I love my son. For your father, it's a little more complicated.
We are not finished.
I am, because you won't listen. Your father is sitting here. Tell him how you hate him.
I'm not gonna pretend I hate my father. I don't hate my father.
Then where is all this anger coming?
Because you're making me angry.
Open the door now! They say sometimes you gotta hurt a child in order to help them, but a mother knows when something isn't right.
I don't want to pretend anymore.
I've had to ask myself and God if I'm ready to lose you.
Yeah, I don't know if I can watch
I can't
that.
watch
Wow.
that. I know I can't watch that.
Oh, immediately.
I'm already crying, so I don't know if I can watch that. Because that's like
Oh,
literally the
okay,
story
that's
of
your
my friend.
reaction. My reaction is like so much anger. Like
Yeah.
I will break
Punch somebody.
something.
Yeah.
That's my friend's story. One of my friends that
Yeah.
actually came out to me when he was 15. That's actually his story.
It's a lot of people's stories.
I can't even talk about this because it's gonna get
Very
very controversial. Very
Very controversial, yeah.
This is of
Girl, breathe.
of topics.
Breathe.
I'm not ashamed of saying I cry a lot in films. It's
Aw.
good
Why would you be ashamed about that? That's beautiful.
because that's the world we live in.
Well, fuck that.
We're gonna change that.
Fuck toxic masculinity.
I'm saying
There you go.
you.
Of
There you go.
those things, of topics that have gotten me to cry more, it is the most. It is this topic. It is the LGBT community and what it means to come up in a world or like an American culture, any culture really. I imagine most cultures throughout time have dealt with topics like this, and so I find it. First off, I'm going to say I find it very interesting that this kid who is in Lady Bird, who has a very similar story arc,
right,
is being typecast like this. And so I was wondering if maybe he's actually gay in real life.
He's also been in Grand Budapest Hotel and Moonrise Kingdom.
And it says, I read that. So his name is Lukas Hedges. His father is Peter Hedges, who has done a lot of films.
Whoa,
Boy,
those are
Down in Real Life.
good movies.
Yeah.
Pieces of April.
Pieces of April.
He was
is a
in
really
Dan in Real Life.
Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
So this is his father.
I know, but he was in it.
Yeah. The
Oh, okay.
Also in
Yeah.
it too. And
Right
so
on.
obviously this is a big role for him. I don't know if this is his first his biggest role as far as like the main character that we're looking at. And the supporting cast or his parents, he's super lucky to be on screen with these people.
Wow, yeah.
I'm going to watch this so hard.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
has
like
kind of
cry
a
my
reputation.
freaking eyes out.
It's like
man.
sometimes he's great and sometimes he's a prick. This movie looks incredible and very intense.
I'm a big fan of Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
Edgerton.
And he wrote this, right?
Edgerton. Yeah.
He
and
wrote and directed and is the
he's doing some stuff.
Yeah.
He did one called The Gift, which was really like I think this is going to be definitely this is definitely.
I think this is important.
He
This
picks-
is
yeah, he picks-
absolutely the kind of thing that we need movies about.
He makes interesting
I
movies.
just don't think I can watch it
What is The
without
Gift
breaking
about?
something.
It's the one where it's Jason Bateman and they went to high school together, and then he makes him like he gives him this gift, but there's all these like weird strings attached, and he ends up like stalking them, and it's kind of like a weird psychological,
It's a weird, twisty psychological film. Yeah,
I like
and
that.
it's really I was like I can't even really talk that much. I don't even,
No,
it's
you'll-
you have to watch it.
Okay.
But he makes very interesting movies, and
does.
I think this is definitely different.
And he wrote this, which it's based on a memoir called Boy Erased. Also,
Oh, okay.
So he's using the true source material that this guy who wrote this is what his life was. I think it's safe to say he made it through because he wrote the book,
Right.
And
Well,
but
hopefully.
it looks very very intense and
I don't know of any. I mean, I think there's one called is it But I'm a Cheerleader? Something about I'm a Cheerleader.
But I'm a Cheerleader,
But
yeah.
I don't know the many movies that actually have delved into this.
Yeah, and
the
But I'm a
idea
Cheerleader
of-
is more like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
This
is actual like
closer to a lived experience of more people.
Yeah.
I've seen a documentary or two.
Right.
Plus, Cheerleader is also. I mean, it's a girl.
It's a girl. Yeah. Yeah.
And that
it's
automatically has like a
Matthew
different.
Shepard.
Yeah.
There was a movie about Matthew Shepard, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There's a couple.
That one was really good.
Yeah. I
And
can't
then
remember what it's called.
Boys Don't
And Boys Don't Cry.
was fantastic.
And there's another. There is another one coming out that I swear
But
I heard about.
specifically
That's
about like conversion.
It's about a girl who gets sent,
the conversion
and then
therapy.
somebody. I can't think of anybody who's in it. It may not even be anybody we know, but so I think culturally there's something of a moment happening right now
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
Yeah, conversion therapy is
Well, that's what I
something we've
mean,
known
yeah.
about for a while.
Yeah.
And we've known doesn't work for a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
God.
yet people are still sending their usually children to these places that have no.
They have to be children. That's how they can legally kidnap them.
Yeah, there's
Right.
there's no. I mean, there's literally no evidence at all that it doesn't do anything. It's just
And it's horrific.
sanctioned
Just
torture.
Like
Torture,
the fact
yeah,
that she
that's just
dropped
torture.
him off is kind of even different because they don't advise that you tell your child that this is happening. They will come in the middle of
Just
the
grab
night
'em.
and
Yeah.
they will just take
Although
them.
there are cases where people
There are cases,
persuade
yeah.
their kids to go and then they do like a drop off.
I just wonder. I wonder too. I mean, I'm not like downplaying, but I mean, or maybe we just haven't seen it in a lot of it's really harrowing. Like
Yeah.
the stuff they do. I wonder how much they're going to touch on.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
this is kind of focused on his life, and I just wonder how much is going to be about the actual conversion therapy
I
itself.
actually most interested in that because like of the documentaries I've seen, they're usually like shorter and you don't really get to see what happens on the inside.
Yeah.
But they're going to be doing a representation of that in this film.
Yeah.
In the one scene that we saw where they're all standing in a line.
Yeah.
So I want to see what more of that is like.
And there was one
Yeah.
shot where they were like beating a boy
With the
another boy
Bibles?
with a Bible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is a very heavy episode of Screen Source.
Haha.
But the thing that's really stupid about those places is that they're all independent of each other. Everybody just does whatever the hell they want. So some of them are very religion based. Some of them are science based. Let me do that again. Science based, because there's no science, but they do things like, hook you up to electrodes and make you look at gay porn, and that's gonna somehow cure you of
They
being
shock you
gay.
every
They
time.
shock you.
So you start to
Clockwork Orange
associate.
therapy.
They'll do
Shock
stuff
therapy.
that no legitimate scientist would ever do.
No.
And they're all, most of them are separate entities from each other. There are some that are like interconnected, but it's all for money. All of it comes down to they want to make money off of people, and they're preying on idiot religious people. Yeah, I know what I said. Idiot religious people who think they can pray the gay away, and guess what? You can't.
Yep.
And
Absolutely right.
let's not forget that unfortunately our country has a very bad history with treating people,
anyone who's just
any marginalized community,
anybody
very badly.
Speaking of, who the fuck is still setting off fireworks? What are you celebrating about this country right now?
It could be
19th, July 19th.
July 19th, guys.
July
Stop.
19th, Albuquerque, New Mexico. They're
celebrating
celebrating the
23rd.
You can do that in so many ways.
Go
anyway.
shopping. That's
Like
how
Jesus.
That's how Cher would want you to celebrate.
Yep.
boom.
So,
All right.
but what I
Anyway.
was going to say was that the history of our country with LGBT, the way we've treated them, is terrible.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it used to be a mental disorder in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual to be gay.
Until very recently, I would say, like in terms of
Which is so
historical
upsetting.
reasons, very
It's
recently.
extremely upsetting. It's extremely upsetting.
It was
So-
classified as a mental illness.
Yep. So the trauma that people must feel.
I blame it all on religion. I really do.
I do too.
Me three.
Honestly, yep. Because it's
Squarely at the feet.
It's coming from really antiquated ideas of humanity, and
not even that.
We don't
there
need
are
that.
cultures that are older than ours that did not have a problem with this.
No.
that have words in their history for
Native
this.
American
that
culture.
great big old
plenty of Native American
great
tribes.
big old fat Western culture. We like to glom onto
Religion.
stuff, and we are dominated by a bunch of stupid people, and
All right, so Boy Erased made us mad, clearly.
It made us
Yeah.
mad,
Yeah.
but we
I think
wanna
it's
watch
very
it.
timely.
But
It's very
looks
timely.
Very timely.
really
It's
well
important.
done.
it looks beautifully made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautifully made.
And
Nicole Kidman is an amazing actress.
Oh my God.
Nicole's good. They're all good. I am a Russell Crowe fan. I dig his work.
I like
great.
Russell Crowe too.
I'm really like into Joel Edgerton because he's a good actor, but like
Yeah.
I'm into that he's coming up as a filmmaker, a really interesting filmmaker.
Is the last one he directed It Comes at Night, or did he also direct?
I think he was just in that. I don't think he directed it.
Yeah, it says producer on it. I'm not sure.
I think he's
actually...
just I think
Okay. I watched though recently, and I should have watched that when it came out.
it's really good.
Fantastic.
It's really good.
Written and directed by Trey Edward Schultz. So,
Yeah.
different guy.
Yeah.
We don't know who that is.
We do know. We can't know them all.
We cannot.
Cannot know them all.
But
Let's
we
move on
He's
to our-
actually
we can try.
we might hear from him again because this is his, I think it's his second movie, and he's starting to pick up some. Yeah, he's starting to pick up some cheddar.
Interesting.
All right,
Nice.
what's going on with the news? Who do we got going first?
Good
Oh,
question. This news
that is myself. So, we're news now.
Yeah,
news,
please.
newsworthy. The good folks over at the CW are planning on a Batwoman TV series.
Fun.
Greg Berlanti and Caroline Dries from let's see, the Vampire Diaries. Caroline Dries from the Vampire Diaries.
Oh,
Greg,
yeah.
Greg Berlanti does a lot of. Well, I think he's doing a lot of the DC small screen universe stuff. Anyway, yeah. So they're coming to the CW. They're looking to. They're going to look for a little crossover series event. I guess it's kind of a big deal now with all their little shows. And this, yeah, I know. I shouldn't condescend. They're actually, the Flash is really good. I've watched some of Green Arrow, and they're actually really good.
Really liking Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Green Arrow started
It's
strong. I
campy
haven't
as
watched
fuck,
it in a
and I
while.
love
Right?
it.
That's I haven't kept up with it.
I've heard it's
I'm
got a little
okay
off the
with
rails,
that.
but it was pretty cool at the
I
beginning.
liked it a lot.
So, and I guess the big
And I'm a sucker for Vampire Diaries, so don't hate me.
right, and
I
it's
never hate
very
you.
it's very.
But I liked it.
I like their stories.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing of note for this one actually, and I don't know if anybody knows any history of Batgirl. this Batgirl is Kate Kane, and she's the new Batgirl, and she is known for being a open lesbian.
Oh,
in the comics,
yay!
So they're bringing this character to life with this, I don't they haven't. There's no casting yet.
Fanboys crying now.
And there's no that's the thing though. I mean, she's this character's been in the comics and she's been out, and so it's kind of been picking up steam. So it's interesting that they're kind of taking a step out, because what do we have? The Flash, Green Arrow. I can't remember what the other one is.
Supergirl.
Supergirl was the new one. Yeah. So like now we're kind of
Black Lightning.
Black Lightning, is that the other one?
DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, the Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, no, they're trying to cover all their bases, I guess, with the diversity.
Sure.
As well they should.
As
It's
well they
2018.
DC,
Diversify.
DC's been very good
smart.
with their diversity, more so than Marvel, interestingly enough.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But also, like historically, DC is like they deal with heavier topics.
Oh yeah,
it's more adult themed. Whiskey seems to disagree. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna derail entirely. It's Marvel has grown into the weird like little sister or little brother, and DC's like, oh, and they're all dark and edgy. That's not how it started. DC was very straightforward, was very old school. Superman, like everybody was Golden Boy, and Marvel was sort of arose as a reaction to that. And so Marvel was the first one to go in that sort of like, oh, but what about the weirdos? What about the dark shit? What about all of like the fallout that you guys aren't talking about?
Well, it's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off. Yeah, and then Marvel started to get a little bit more like wacky
DC,
and absurd, and DC was like, well,
and
so it's going to swing the other way probably in the next couple years.
And DC, and definitely DC was the one too with like you said, the Golden Boy. They had specific things that their characters had to go by, so they couldn't be in any relationships.
No, they were very strict,
and they were very strict code of conduct for all their heroes, and then then eventually like, well maybe we should start exploring these
maybe Superman needs a girlfriend.
Well, they started seeing that people were really interested in what Marvel was doing. They were like, oh,
and it makes them more relatable.
Want those stories,
and it makes them it kind of humanizes
and I'm sure
these characters.
The writers and the artists were like, yes, please give us take the rules away. Let us play
do something. Yeah.
Do you guys know anything about the people attached to this?
Nope.
Dude
looks very familiar.
These are just the these are really the, I guess these are kind of the founders right here. There's no casting yet, so I mean they're just now announcing that they're gonna go ahead with it.
That's dropping. This is a part of the streaming service, right?
Oh, is it going to be on there?
You know what?
No, it's CW. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, it's CW, so it's in with that. I don't know about how that's going to actually play out with their streaming service and everything.
What is that called? DC something?
DC something.
The streaming thing.
DC Universe Online.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anytime I hear a DC announcement, I'm assuming because we're coming close to it, I'm assuming that they're always like just trying to tell you like this is what you have to look forward to. Star Wars is starting, or Disney's starting to do that with their streaming service that's rolling out soon enough. So they keep making new announcements, and especially with San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah,
sure.
They got to keep us excited. We have to stay interested because it's not here yet.
Yeah, if you want our $5 a month, please tell us something cool.
Yeah.
All right. You guys ready for the next topic?
Let's do it.
I think that's you, Bridget.
Oh, is it me? It is me.
Yeah.
It is me, and I should tell you the news about Zombieland A Dose.
Nice.
Which is officially confirmed.
It's all Spanish.
En español. I have been learning it on my phone, my telefono. No,
telefono.
So Deadpool 2. No, skip that part. So Zombieland 2 it's going to bring back the original cast members: Woody Harrelson, who played Tallahassee, Emma Stone, who played Wichita, Jesse Eisenberg, who played Columbus, and Abigail Breslin, who played Little Rock.
Oh, so cute.
So that's cool.
I didn't realize those were their names. That's so great.
Yeah. And the original director, Ruben Fleischer, is coming back as well. So that's going to be pretty groovy. And wasn't
it originally supposed to be a TV show?
It was.
It got
so that makes sense.
Or they it didn't even.
No,
but
that makes sense that they're like, let's do a sequel because we have more story than what we gave you in the first film.
And so it was fun. So it was a super fun movie. A super successful movie. It really took the zombie thing and played
How
with
young
it.
Emma Stone.
Look how young they all look.
Look how
actually.
young Abigail Breslin
Look
looks.
at-
She's
yeah.
a woman now.
She's full. Yeah.
That's making
Full-on
me wonder.
woman.
Do you guys remember when the last one came out? The year?
No. I saw it
she-
so late. I saw it like 6 years after it came
2009.
Nine.
Oh, nine.
So
Okay.
these people are
The
all
movie-
almost 10 years old.
The movie
Almost.
premiered in 2009, and the 4 original cast members are all Academy Award nominees and winners.
Wow.
Nice.
Since
Yeah,
this movie,
Since the
so
movie,
Pretty
yeah.
sure I saw that one like
classing it
Yeah.
up.
like
Guess when I saw it?
2015.
3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Someone
had
finally sat me down and be like, "You haven't seen this?" I was like, "No."
We had a
Should I have?
we have a required viewing
fun.
segment of Screen Source, and so if you want to watch our review of the movie, you can.
Cool.
And yeah, of course, it was a ton of fun. They won't be bringing back.
Mr. Bill Murray.
You got it.
Yeah, no
super
more Bill
super
Murray, yeah.
delightful secret cameo, which I did not see the original Zombieland in the theater either, and I didn't know
Yeah, I
the
didn't either.
cameo.
I feel like-
Nobody spoiled it for me, so when it happened, I was like, "What? That's so great!"
Yeah.
If I was on that episode, I apologize because I probably talked about this then. But I own a shirt that when you like the shirts where you can pull them over your head and you're like a dinosaur. This
Yes.
one is you are Zombie Bill Murray.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
It's my favorite shirt. I can't wear it the way I want to all the time because I'm blind and also I'm pretty sure it's a felony. But
because of women's shameful nipples.
yes,
You can go to New York.
because my boobs are dangerous.
Yeah. So yeah, this
That's not where I don't want to walk around half naked and blind in New York. Thank you.
Yeah.
that's
They
gonna-
freed the nipple in some places over there, though.
They did.
Oh, nice.
They freed the nipple and they're going to imprison me.
Yep.
Nice.
yeah. So 2009 was the original.
Okay, so
Great.
almost 10 years later, we're going to see these people
And
in a
there's
different light.
the-
So,
they're saying to 2019, so it will be
So
10
10 years.
10 years.
do
Awesome.
you guys think that they will continue right off the tail end of the other one, or that we will
I don't-
jump forward? 10
I don't
years
think they
or so?
could.
I think it would be awesome if they just jumped forward
because
10
of
years.
Abigail Breslin.
Yeah, I don't think they
they have
could.
to.
They
Yeah.
have to because she looks
They have to fast forward at least a little
so
bit.
much
Sure.
older.
She's a grown.
She doesn't
young
look
lady
like
now.
she doesn't look like a little
in
girl.
she's
at all,
Dirty
much
yeah.
taller.
Dancing TV show as the
It's-
lead.
There's that
role.
TV show.
Nice.
Like,
Didn't know that either.
what
Nice.
the heck?
And
It's
so the
weird.
writers wrote
I have so many
Deadpool and
questions.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah. They're back too.
Yeah, so the
Nice.
writers are back as well. So
That's great.
Yes!
So this
That's
should
great,
be
yeah.
a pretty fun movie. I
hope
think.
so.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
Hell
the
yeah.
first one was fun. I think that they just stick with the formula
Keep
and
the spirit. Yeah,
keep
definitely.
It, keep it alive, man.
Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, they're clearly very smart writers.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're gonna be able to like change the tone because Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are so up here.
Yeah.
You know, and then if so long as they can make it work for Woody Harrelson again, and I'm
Yeah,
stoked
yeah.
on
Oh,
all
they
these
will.
people,
And I think
have no doubt.
the
Are you kidding me? It's every actor's dream to be in a movie that just has like you're just sort of like I'm just gonna let my balls fly.
and and the cool thing is too, because of the world they created in the first one, so like what is the sequel gonna look like? You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
what is that world gonna look like? That version of reality and how people were gone.
That's
and
true.
who like I don't know what they're gonna do with it. So
Sure.
that they have opportunities here, and you know they can bring in other cameos, or they could bring in other cast.
I'll
or-
bet they will. I'll bet they'll bring in another really famous cameo, and they die or something.
it's gonna be President Obama.
But
And
no.
which is
they
what
die,
they also
it's
did in
gonna be-
Deadpool 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know, but this should be cool. 2019.
Did someone
I'm.
say Obama? What do you
I was
mean?
making a joke. Like,
That would be awesome.
if Obama was
a
the
little
cameo,
late on that reaction.
Obama was
Aw.
the cameo,
That
and
would
then
be
he
awesome.
leads them into the
Vanisher.
future.
Right.
I would watch that movie.
That's the future.
I would totally watch that movie.
Okay.
So this should be good. Yeah, bunch of Oscar winners up there, Oscar
I'm just
nominees.
glad they all got on board with it and that we have everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there
Well,
was
I-
a great chemistry with the four of them.
And
too.
I'm sure they all had. I can't imagine them not having a good experience the first time. And
Yeah.
I can't imagine them not being like, no, you know.
I have a quick
Yeah.
question. I know, like we're trying to ring in time. Do you guys think it'll be like the same style? They're gonna stick with all that, with the rules kind of popping up, and it's very comic booky, or do you think they're gonna kind of?
I hope so.
I kind of I that's one of the things I liked about it.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe not the rules exactly. Maybe they might have hopefully updated it somehow. Or
yeah.
something.
Well, they may like do like a refresher course.
Or
Yeah.
like these are our
New
new
rules.
or like
rules.
we've adapted them.
Yeah.
See how we all have
addendums.
addendum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Addendum number 1.
We had to do
Plus-
some
This
edits.
does not always work.
Yeah, we
Something-
had to do some edits in the rules.
Something I don't think anybody. Not that they're going to do this, but I mean, it'd be really interesting to see. Like, I don't think anybody's really covered like further down the zombie like timeline.
What it looks like 10 years later.
Yeah,
That's
you
what I'm
know.
saying,
So
like-
I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah,
so hopefully,
they could do a lot of fun things there.
You could
so.
just make a World War Z that doesn't suck.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
It's an idea. hey, filmmakers, just a thought. Do your best.
All right, Whiskey,
Right.
what's going on?
Yeah.
So, Joss Whedon,
There he is.
Nice.
love of my life, man who can do no wrong, fight me.
I will fight.
I can't.
Anyway,
I'm on board with that train.
I am on board with that train. Anything that he ever does, I am happy with.
We'll have a
Professionally?
Wonder Woman
Watch
script.
professionally.
Okay.
Yes. I am talking about that. Is doing a new show on HBO called The Nevers, and it is, and I quote, a sci-fi epic centered around a gang of Victorian women with special abilities on a mission that could change the world. Which
That sounds amazing.
Like the best thing that could ever happen to my TV. I am so excited about
Your
this.
whole life. It's
To my whole life.
a pretty cool concept, like a bunch of Victorian women. Come on,
Kicking ass.
Yeah.
doing anything already. I'm on board.
He's
Yeah.
already said that. He's already said that he couldn't be more excited. That it's the most ambitious narrative I've created, which I'm excited
Sure.
to see that because he's pretty ambitious as it is. And that's about it. That's about all the information we have from it. So
coming to the HBO.
there were a couple of other like Netflix was in it wanting
Oh,
to pick
yeah,
this
yeah.
up. There were a couple of there was a little bit of fighting about it. So the
Yeah.
fact that HBO was like, no, we're gonna do this.
Have they settled on HBO?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's HBO.
Yeah, it's HBO. So they're gonna drop a fair amount of money because their production value is stupid high, which
Well,
makes
yeah,
me
they-
even more excited.
He even said HBO's a good home for what this is.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think
I think that you can make the argument that like every director, writer, producer wants to be on HBO. It is
Yup.
it is the premier television.
gonna
right?
make
Yeah.
The one argument I'd say would be like the only other one that would be as big as or could fight against it would be Netflix because it has more eyes on it.
Yeah.
It costs a lot to own HBO.
Yeah.
yeah.
But Joss Whedon with his status and the movies that he's done and the television shows that he's done, HBO sounds perfect.
Everything
Yeah,
that he's
for sure.
done, everything that he's done
might
that
be
I
the
have
only ones
ever
who
watched
afford
has
him,
been my
honestly.
favorite thing in the world.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
True.
Premium.
Yeah, they have
It's
Avengers
gonna be
budget.
great.
yeah.
And the fact that he will continually cast Nathan Fillion. I mean, that's a plus.
Yes.
True.
Joss Whedon directs Uncharted with
I'm okay with
Oh
that.
god, that would be great. I would watch that. I would watch
yeah.
the shit out of that.
interesting topic. Victorian.
Yes!
When I hear it, I'm already thinking like of those like what was that crappy Victorian zombie one?
Oh, like Pride and Prejudice
I
and
hope-
Zombies.
yeah.
That kind
No,
of thing.
no,
I don't-
no.
That's
This
what
is
I'm hoping.
sci-fi.
That book was delightful. The movie
The
was terrible.
book, I was gonna say yeah.
The book was delightful. This makes me think a little bit of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
A little
Which
bit.
is
I
also
love
not
that.
that good.
Yeah, no.
Terrible movie. Great source
Great source
material, though.
material.
Yeah.
And but having
fine.
that like time
So,
that time period is really
what
interesting.
it sounds to me a little bit is that it could be a little steampunk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Victorian sci-fi.
Yeah.
In other words, is steampunk.
Yeah, let me
Sure.
see some airships.
Little Van Helsing like. I kind
Little
of
bit.
like
Yeah,
Van Helsing.
sure.
You know, it was like kind of lame, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's steampunk adjacent. I
Yeah.
would
There you go.
say.
Yeah.
But like, so that the sci-fi in it is like the machines that they will create to do things that are like, oh, what what if we didn't have the revolution that we had and we just kept working with like steam machines?
Right.
Sorry, I really like steampunk. Y'all should check out the webcomic Girl Genius. It's amazing.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. We don't have any information on this, so
Yeah.
there's
No,
not
it's
much to say.
very early.
I know it's
I'm
super
looking forward
early
to
on.
I know that Joss was connected to a couple projects that some of which I think he dropped out of recently, And so it's good to know that he had something else revving
Yeah.
up.
Cooking.
Yeah, cooking, exactly.
So when do we think this? I'm guessing 2020.
Yeah,
Probably.
Probably.
If we're getting
If it's a TV series.
if we're
yeah.
getting this tiny
Yeah.
little tidbit
Yeah.
in July 2018, I don't think we're going to see it for 2020.
No, I think
Sure.
you're right. 2020 sounds
So
about
that
right.
It's
means
gonna
we have
take
to
at
wait.
least 2 years to make
That's
it
okay.
quality
It'll
HBO
pop
show.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they won't cancel it. Fox.
you know what you did, Fox.
I will
No.
never
Yeah,
forgive
right.
you.
Actually,
Sure.
now I wonder because HBO, it's Game of Thrones is owning all of television at the moment, and after 2020, what takes over? And people are
Yeah.
already talking about like, what do we do when Game of Thrones is
Right.
out of our lives?
people.
Well, they're
So
already
many things,
filming-
guys.
They're
Chill out.
already
So
filming.
much.
So many things to do.
I think they just started filming a prequel.
The
We may have
prequel.
talked about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That'll come up in probably 23 or something. Maybe earlier
series
than
that
that.
never
but
dies.
Westworld is the next thing.
I think
Right.
Westworld's
That's
going to take
taking
the
over.
Now,
crown,
and let me
yeah.
just say, for the record, HBO is doing great now, but HBO wasn't always as supportive of their shows. They canceled a lot of series in the past that they only gave 1 or 2 abbreviated seasons of.
Yep.
Rome being one. They
Yeah,
they
I
don't
love
always
that show.
stand behind their big budget shows. Game of Thrones was a haha game changer in that it cost them a freaking fortune. But they decided, let's stick it out. Whereas in the past, they would spend that money on a production and be like, we can't do this
Can't keep it
anymore.
up,
And
yeah.
they gave up. So they have actually changed how they are making shows.
Someone-
and because
there might be some changes up at the top there.
I would almost
Sure.
guarantee you that there have been, because that's how that
Someone's
stuff happens.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
I find it.
But they did abandon a lot of really interesting shows. Carnival was one of my favorite shows, and they did 2 seasons of that, and they gave up. Fuck
that-
you,
that's
HBO!
what
Carnival was amazing.
That wasn't the New Orleans one, was it?
No, it was a traveling circus, and it had an amazing cast, including Mr. Clancy Brown, who I would watch read the phone book.
Right.
Amazing show. Very weird. The battle of good and evil in like Dust Bowl era America with a traveling carnival, plus weird like magic. It was such a cool show, and they canceled it.
Yeah, we could probably honestly talk about HBO all day. They
All
have a
night.
not only them, but like Showtime and just like the history of like premiere cable television.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up; it's actually really interesting.
Sure.
Shows that they stuck with and shows they gave up on, and
Right.
there's no real reason. I mean, like when you look at the ones they stuck with versus the ones they gave up on, it's like, I mean, God, it could have gone either way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It always could have
Sure.
gone either
Toss
way.
up.
But at this point, HBO has figured out a formula, and I think they're a little bit more willing to invest time
Yeah.
and money past like a two season, which their seasons are what 6-8 episodes anyway. But past
So
past
interested
that.
to see too, like how it's
BBC model.
like what happens when Hulu and Amazon and Netflix start surpassing, which Netflix is now like some data came out recently that they are the most watched, more so than television.
Because they've got more content than any other.
Yeah,
and they just
then there
provide
was a
it.
big thing
Cranking it
recently
out.
with HBO. With
And occasionally it's great.
I think it was in
Yeah,
HBO.
a lot
Is
of times
they have
great.
new leadership now, and they're saying, should we start making content like Netflix is, which is quantity over quality, and a lot of people are fighting back, saying no, this is a quality channel, not a quantity channel.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I bet you that Netflix is going to start changing their model, though. They're going to, because right now they're cranking out show after show after anything and everything they can, including international films. They're producing stuff that's
And they're great.
not even English,
Which is
English language, comedy
giving a
specials,
lot of opportunities
documentary.
to
Yeah,
people.
it is. I think they're flooding everybody's brains right now so that we get used to knowing we're going to get content from them, and then they're going to start to pull it back and be a little bit more
Selective.
careful. Yeah.
Huh.
I hope so.
That's what I think is going to happen. Not right away. They're going to do this for another year or 2, maybe 3, who knows. But then they're going to start to be a little bit more selective about the projects that they produce, because they're going to realize that being known for quantity versus quality is not really the reputation they want to have.
Right.
And they do make good quality things, but it's like you have to find them amidst
They're like the
Yeah.
gems.
all of the things.
I'm interested because I've heard people talk about the business model of Netflix, which is throwing a wide web, and so it's true. It's really interesting to see what will happen.
And it's new. This is new for them to even be doing this. Like
Yeah.
this is the first
of their kind.
of their kind.
Yeah.
So they're still
Yeah.
figuring it out. But
Also, Walmart recently, I think they bought like Voodoo or some channel thing too. So there's a potential that they. Well, I think it's been a little while, but people are talking about them releasing their streaming service, and they may or may not make an announcement soon.
Walmart.
Walmart.
Fuck you, Walmart.
I
I'm
mean,
not
yeah.
gonna support you, Walmart.
No.
But Voodoo is
Hilarious.
I don't care how good your shit
Voodoo
is,
an
which is
interesting
not going to
platform,
be
so
much.
that's interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
right.
A lot
Yeah.
like it's like 5,000
A
things
lot.
in their catalog.
A lot. They have a big catalog. That's really okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Treating your workers like human beings, and maybe I'll
Please.
watch your channel.
Anyways, let's move on. That was the
Yay.
news portion. It's gonna be a long night, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
We started a little bit
Right.
late too.
We are now coming soon now with Post Tomatoes, which always comes before.
Pre-tomatoes.
Come on. Every week we talk about.
I'm sorry, I was reading the thing. I was like, what does that say?
Every week we talk about new film and television that's coming out, and we assign what we believe the Rotten Tomato scores are going to be. And then the following week we take a look at it and see what they are. Last week we looked at Skyscraper, 8th Grade, and don't worry, he won't get far on foot. And so everybody's looking at that thing at the top. Ignore it for now.
Okay.
Actually, no. Let's elephant in the room. An article I read recently said that 8th Grade, the new Bo Burnham written and directed film,
Holy shit!
is of this year the best per screen average.
Yeah, I read that too.
$63,000.
And that apparently the little girl who's in it is a revelation.
I'm sorry. We need to walk it back just a second for me.
Wow.
Bo Burnham made a movie.
If I'm not mistaken, it's his directorial
He
debut.
wrote, yes,
Wrote
it is.
and directed.
Wrote and directed it. It's supposed to be fantastic.
Give it to me,
That
give it
little
to me
girl
now.
Right.
in the background of the poster is the star of the film, and apparently is
Elsie Fisher?
is an absolute revelation. She's
That's it.
brand new to
I need her.
the
I
world.
need everything. I
She's-
need
yeah.
everything.
Apparently, Whiskey. I know a producer myself. Bo Burnham is a genius.
Oh my
When
God.
it comes to comedy,
He
He'd
is-
probably slap
oh,
you for
man.
telling him
yeah,
that.
and he's actually a former YouTube star. That's where you got to start.
Yes.
And
He's
so-
he's brilliant.
Welcome to YouTube.
Listen to him on podcasts.
Oh,
I actually don't like him. He really bothered me on. I forgot what podcast it was. I'll tell you guys if I remember.
Bo. Oh my God, Mr.
Um,
Burnham.
I mean, I don't know. He's also very young. He's like 24 or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's he's talked about it before. He's you know who he reminds me of? Donald Glover.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't
He's the
really
white
like
Donald-
to talk about each other,
No, but
about
he's the
themselves.
white Donald
They
Glover.
don't really like all the attention that they get. They don't really like
Sure.
people calling them
They just want to
genius.
make
They're just
their
like, I
art,
just
yeah.
want to make my shit.
And
Yeah.
they're not
And
yet-
that he's like, no one really seems to get that who I am on stage and who I am in life are two completely different people.
And they
Yeah.
don't even really want to like make money or be famous, or they just want to literally make it and put it out there,
Yeah.
and
And then just sort of-
just leave it. Like, there it is. I did it.
like
I did it.
the thing. Here you are, and then I'm gonna go.
I gave it
Stop
to you."
talking to me. Oh
Yeah,
my
tell,
God.
yeah, tell us
Yeah.
what you guys think. But like, watch interviews and stuff. Like, these are the two people that you mentioned specifically. They don't seem very pleasant.
They're not very good with
Um,
interviews.
No. Sometimes.
Well, think about it this way too, though. That's not really how one interacts with a person.
Right.
True.
In interviews, when you're being interviewed, like that's a skill actually to come across as likable and pleasant and not an arrogant asshole, and like
and-
that's difficult.
And let's take a moment and just address the fact that both Mr. Donald Glover and Mr. Bo Burnham are men and are
Yeah.
allowed to be assholes in interviews, whereas women filmmakers and creators don't get that luxury. So I think Donald Glover actually, I think, is aware of that. I can't speak
Oh,
for
yeah.
Bo Burnham. I haven't heard as many interviews with him, but they both have a luxury of being men and being able to not have to try that hard and be and when they're being interviewed and just let themselves be dismissive and rude and whatever they want, and their work speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
when women do that, we
They're
get
bitches.
nailed.
Yeah, it's not
So
good.
just putting that out there for a moment. Just let's think about it. Be aware of it, because
yeah.
best per screen average of the year.
That's
That's insane.
that's
Yeah.
astounding.
That's amazing for his first film.
For a first
I
film,
mean,
yeah.
like, but also to be fair, like it was barely in any theaters.
And it is, but it's being released like
More,
chunks
yeah.
of cities at a time.
Sure.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll just start
Small-
there. Then we
small
thought it was
little
going to be
film,
an
yeah.
88%. It ended up being a 98.
Wow.
And I threw the audience score up there just because there's some interesting discrepancies in some of the things we're looking at today.
Yeah.
But the audience was 95.
90,
so
so close.
pretty.
Wow. So
Yeah,
really,
pretty close. People seem to agree with the critics.
I'm saying I've heard it's like amazing. This girl is supposed to be amazing. It's a very small movie, but it's like it's about being in 8th grade, which
Is awful.
it's horrible. It's so
There's
bad.
like not much worse than being an 8th grade girl.
Oh my
let me just
god,
say.
it's like the worst
Yeah.
time. It's the worst.
It's when you get your period. It's when
awful.
boys make fun of you.
Everyone is mean
Oh
and
my
terrible. I have
God.
often said that the worst humans on the planet actually are like
They're middle school.
middle school children
I
are the
was
worst.
kid.
They're little
Yeah.
Middle
assholes.
schoolers are the worst.
They're literally the worst.
All right, let's
We
go
haven't
to the
grown out of our
next one.
psychopathy yet.
Yeah.
Mr. Dwayne Johnson, Skyscraper.
Skyscraper.
We thought it was going to be a 57%. Ended up being a 49 by
Okay.
critics.
Right.
Audiences disagree.
Right.
By
Because
a
they
lot.
love
That
themselves.
usually ends up being
We love
that usually ends up the case with all of the Rock's movies.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
kind
That's
of
why we
maudlin,
keep
but
making them.
everyone is like, yes, it's the Rock.
We love we love
fine with
Dwayne.
I'm fine with that. Like I said,
fine.
this is probably the least one I'm excited about, but
You
I
are a
will
big Dwayne fan?
probably watch it just
probably- okay.
because of the Rock. Yes.
Yeah, the story is just insanity. It's crazy. It's dumb. It's about
It's
a
like
giant
not
tower.
believable at all. But whatever.
The
It's
thing
The
that
Rock.
the first I heard of it was the whole issue with the poster and the physics of him jumping through from the
It's
platform
like,
to the
dear
building
God,
and how
man.
it's physically impossible for him to make that jump. Somebody literally worked out the physics, and I was like, "Oh, Dwayne."
You're spending
Yeah.
way too much time.
So I was like,
analyzing this
"Whoever you
poster.
are, let it go. It's Dwayne Johnson. It's
Sure.
One of the things I
fine."
thought was interesting is
As if we haven't seen shit like that in like
No.
all
yeah.
the action
Oh yeah, because
movies
he's
ever.
the first one to ever defy physics.
Right.
Come on.
I think the trailer came out like not soon before, or not too soon. What am I trying to say?
Not
I think
too
the
soon.
the trailer and the release date were very close to each other. I guess.
Oh, okay.
I agree. I feel like I didn't see a trailer until like a few weeks ago. Maybe
Yeah,
I
honestly-
missed it, but I really don't think I heard even about it until
That
then.
and they're all the well. I mean, I imagine how different can the trailers be, but I just noticed all the trailers had a lot of the same shots and a lot
Yeah.
of the same things.
same
So
same basic
They
I don't-
probably
shots,
made
yeah.
the movie like real fast.
yeah.
Yeah, if they said this was like not Kong, was the other movie?
Rampage?
Yeah, Rampage.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If they would have showed this, I would have thought it was just a Rampage trailer.
Sure.
Yeah,
actually.
You would have been like, "Well, where's the big
Where's the
big
monsters?"
wolf?
Gator.
I thought there was
Yeah.
a big wolf in this one. Just a big building. Maybe the wolf is in the building. I'm gonna keep watching, and then you just keep watching, and
And
you're
you're
like
just
the
like,
whole
oh.
time you're like,
Where's
I
the
swear,
wolf?
I thought there was a giant wolf in this. Am I wrong? Then you're leaning over. Wasn't there a giant wolf?
You sound like a blast to go to the theaters with.
She is.
And the last one, don't worry, he won't get far on foot.
Now, what is that?
Same
That's
deal.
the Joaquin
Gus Van Sant.
Phoenix
yes,
one.
Joaquin Phoenix one. We
Okay.
thought it was going to get an 85. It actually got a 77 by critics.
But-
Audiences disagree.
You guys
Yeah.
nailed the audience score though, 85.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, that's-
It might be too like I think maybe
kind of
I don't maybe
annoyed
it's
with
not
him.
a very Gus Van Sant-y movie, and maybe that's what the critics wanted.
Oh yeah,
You
because
know?
his movies are usually
Now remind me what
kind
other
of
movies.
fucked up. Gus
Yep.
Van Sant movies.
I know I did the same thing.
Last week.
Milk.
Milk.
Good Will Hunting, but that's not. I think that's more Ben
no,
Affleck.
Good Will
and-
Hunting was the sort of first outlier movie.
Yeah.
Even Milk is damn uplifting.
Yeah.
Damn uplifting.
And then we were talking about Elephant.
Yeah.
Talking
Oh,
about
that's
My Own
the-
Private Idaho.
My Own Private Idaho is the one I usually go to
Yeah.
to say, like, if you want to know what a quintessential Gus Van Sant movie, to me, it's My Own Private Idaho.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves, vaguely Shakespearean, dark,
It's very dark.
homoerotic, very
Is it a
upsetting.
period piece?
No,
well, in the 80s,
it's like
during the
it's like
80s,
a 90s,
yeah.
early
Or
90s.
Phoenix was in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Whenever- yeah, that's
it's-
what I mean,
It's
yeah.
one
Early
of his
90s.
later films, but it's heartbreaking. It's weird. It doesn't totally make sense. There's a lot of strange visuals.
I'm okay with that.
It's-
Yeah.
It's enough.
It's a good movie, but
Yeah.
you have to kind of get on board the Gus Van Sant weird train.
Yeah.
Sure.
If anything, I think his later movies are less
He's
weird.
dialed back.
Yeah. Milk was not weird at
Milk
all.
was very
No.
accessible.
No.
Yeah.
And
Elephant
lovely.
was an interesting watch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so the trailer to this one, I remember watching. It looked good.
Jonah Hill is in this, yes?
Yes.
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 It's all
Hippie
hidden.
Jonah Hill.
Hippie
Hippie.
Jonah,
It's like
hippie
Jesus,
Jonah
yeah.
Hill.
Looks also is that
And he does these weird.
Jack Black?
It's
Yeah, Jack Black.
Yes, and
Okay.
Joaquin Phoenix, and then what's her face? Rooney Mara.
Yes.
Rooney
Again,
Mara.
Rooney Mara is popping up all the time
all over the place.
in
All over.
weird ass movies
Yep.
with either Joaquin Phoenix or Casey Affleck. By the way, fuck that guy. Just
I also don't really like Rooney Mara.
she's
She's okay.
she's
Yeah.
okay.
She's okay.
I'll
I
watch
kind
Joaquin
of can't
Phoenix.
get over her
Fantastic.
Gus-
playing fucking Tiger Lily.
Oh yeah.
She wasn't a great
yeah.
cylinder
I
either.
forgot she did that.
Oh yeah.
No, I
I
mean-
saw the
And now
trailers
there's a new
and was
one.
like,
Yeah,
I wanna watch
I'm
that.
more on board with Claire Foy.
I saw the
Uh,
trailers for that one and was like, oh fuck.
the-
I was like, Claire
and
Foy.
then,
What? Okay.
But I mean, I fell in love with real Naomi Rapace.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
those-
yeah,
Rapace is the
she
best.
was
she's amazing.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
But
it's
yeah,
kind of hard to follow.
Just-
Kind of hard act to follow.
Did you see Naomi Rapace's? It's a Netflix original. It's What Happened
What
on
Happened
Monday.
Monday. It's very good.
She's 7.
7. Is it
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah,
It is good.
it ends not how I expected. And I know how things.
Yeah.
I always know how things
Is
are
it
going to
a
end.
movie?
It's
Yes,
so
it's a
good.
Netflix
Is
movie.
it in
Netflix.
English?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Netflix original.
Is it in English?
So good. No, that's a valid question because she's originally from Sweden.
Something like that.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
would have been more excited if it was not in English.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Oh,
This-
the
I'd
one
still
last
see
thing
this
on
movie probably. Just
the other
'cause it
thing,
looks
Gus
weird.
Van Sant does these weird. It's he's like because Milk was a biopic. Elephant was sort of a biopic, and like I said, he's done a couple. He did one where the character is sort of he's got Kurt Cobainish, and he's like I forget what that one's
Oh, God,
what
what is that
yeah,
called?
I know.
they're
Yeah,
very character.
but they're almost
studies.
like real. And so this is based on a real life character. I think he was an illustrator or something.
Yeah.
Very very. What do you call that? He's kind of an asshole a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's one of
What do you
those
call
stories.
assholes? I think you call
Yeah.
them assholes.
Yeah.
Eccentric, I want to say.
I kind
and
of
it's
got
like-
that a little bit from the fact that the title is "Don't worry, he won't get far on foot," and he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right,
They're going
right off the bat, we're getting kind of an idea.
Super cheeky.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so that was our scores from last week. Let's look at next week's, coming soon now with pre-tomatoes, which always comes after.
Post tomatoes.
All right, that
We
might be
did
the first
it.
in not history because you guys did it last time apparently.
You weren't here. You weren't here.
And that's because Fernando's a better host than I am.
But we did it.
Mamma mia, here we go again.
No one needs this.
I will say,
No.
like, the title was smartly chosen.
Yeah.
Correct.
Here we go again.
Yeah,
Correct.
Get it.
Could
Here we
have
go
been
again.
Something else that would have been bad. So that'll be coming out this week, actually tonight. Castle Rock comes out next
Yeah.
week, July 25th.
excited.
This is the Stephen King, J.J. Abrams collab, and then Unfriended Dark Web, also known as Unfriended 2. We watched the trailer. It looks
Does that come out tomorrow?
I've seen the trailer
that
for
comes
that.
out tonight. Yes.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Let's talk about Mamma Mia. Did anybody watch the original?
Yeah, I liked it.
And you
I
guys
saw
liked
the
it?
stage show twice.
Wow.
Dang.
I saw the movie. I own the movie on DVD because
Whoa.
it is fucking delightful.
It's delightful.
It is
Okay.
terrible and it is delightful. I
There you
love
go.
the movie Grease 2. For me, Mamma Mia is on par with Grease 2. It is not a good movie, but it is a fun movie.
Yep, I
and
will
it
agree.
makes me happy in my heart. And
There you
I
go.
therefore
Makes you
categorize
ABBA.
it very
I feel
specifically.
like you guys would get along with my friend Brian, who likes to tell me that everybody likes ABBA.
No, they don't.
No, I do
That's
not.
what I
No.
say.
No, they
people
don't.
hate
First of all,
ABBA,
no, they
actually.
don't.
I do not
Mama,
like
Mamma
ABBA.
Mia, yeah, it is not a good movie, but it is a cute movie,
I
and it makes
agree.
me happy.
I
Everybody loves
just,
ABBA.
it's called
That is
a,
not true.
it's called a paternity test. We have them.
But
Sure.
how many
We
movies?
had them then.
How many movies use that trope? It always makes me laugh. It's like, what?
I don't know.
like all of a
Bridget,
sudden,
what movies are you watching? 'Cause
Oh my, are you
this is not a
serious?
common
Lifetime
theme.
Are you serious?
I don't watch Lifetime
There are
movies.
literally there's like a whole genre of movies about like
Who's the father
Who's the
genre?
yes, that's like
Nice.
a subgenre of romantic
It is.
comedy.
Throw it out real quick. Paternity test.
Yep.
Right.
There you go.
But
Then you'll
that's
know.
but that's the whole point
Then
of
you
these
lose the
movies is
genre.
that like they
That's
literally
fine. That genre should die.
They
She
literally
gets 3
don't.
dads that are awesome.
Yeah, she
Are
does.
they? Are they really awesome? Because if they were awesome, wouldn't they have been around for their
That's
child's life?
true.
If they
Right.
knew,
They're
they,
Just a thought.
if they knew,
later.
they would have. But
then
she
maybe her mom has some fucking issues that she needs to work through.
she does.
She has a lot
She
of
fucked
issues.
3 guys within a 24-hour period and doesn't know which one got
Wait,
her
it's in
pregnant.
one day?
But doesn't care
Basically-
either. Like is like, no, that's fine. I'm just gonna disappear until my child.
No. She
inexplicably
doesn't
decides
disappear.
now.
She doesn't disappear. That okay.
It's fine.
The
I
basic
don't need to know.
plot is she's on this island and the dudes come to the island. She's like enamored with all 3 of them because they're adorable and they all leave. She just doesn't tell any of them that they might have gotten her pregnant.
Right.
They leave.
Yeah, exactly.
She lives there. It's like a small island off the
So
coast
what
of
is
Greece.
her daughter's like beef with this?
There's no beef. she's getting married, and she's decided she wants to invite her father, and then she does a little snooping in her mom's journal and finds these 3 guys, any one of whom might be her dad. So she just blindly invites all 3 of them, but makes it seem like her mom did it and doesn't tell them that they might be her dad.
27%. That's what I'm going.
Yeah. This movie, this one has Cher in it, guys. Don't underestimate the power of Cher.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's.
I'm sure. So the audience score will be high.
The audience score is going to be high on this.
Oh,
really?
Cher!
Yes.
I love Cher.
Really?
Oh my God!
I love
Considering
Cher
how many people
as
at
much
this
as
table liked the original movie.
Well,
I'm just gonna go.
I like it because it's a piece of crap. You don't like
You
any
know
pieces
what?
of crap.
I like lots of pieces of crap movies.
Everybody has crap they like, and they know it's crap.
Absolutely.
For me, Mamma Mia is crap. Now, let me be clear. Mamma Mia is crap. Am I going to go see Mamma Mia? Here we go again? Nope.
No.
You want to
Nope.
know?
I was expecting a yes.
Am I going to watch
I'm
it
not
on
paying a
Netflix
dime.
someday?
You know what
I'm
my-
not paying a dime
You know
for
what my
that.
Mamma Mia's are?
What's that?
The prequels for Star Wars.
Oh,
Oh boy, those are your Mamma Mia's.
Oh.
Mamma
Those are my
Mia
Mamma
is what I
Mias.
say to that.
that's valid. That's
I
valid.
I feel like all of my Mamma Mia's are shows actually. Where,
Yeah.
There you
where
go.
I'm just like, oh, it's just so campy and cheesy, but I love it.
There should be a new terminology.
Lost
Like,
Girl.
hey, what's your Mamma Mia?
Oh my God. It's terrible.
But it's
So much fun.
Terrible, but you love it. I got a ton.
I want to live in a world where all the detectives wear leather vests.
Are you
Thank
kidding?
you.
Come
Okay, we need
on.
to come to a consensus. What's
I
the
mean,
score?
27.
sounds good.
That's fine. We all agree with
27, yeah.
Audience
But
score will be like
the audience-
89. Yeah.
The audience
and we
score is
don't.
going to be higher. I'm
Wait,
calling
whenever
it.
you have Cher or Dolly Parton in a movie, the audience
true.
score is going to be through the roof.
People
for
love-
good reason.
people love them.
And
They're
people
goddesses.
love Meryl too.
And
so,
Meryl.
Yeah.
All right,
Meryl.
Castle Rock, new Hulu original, based off of Stephen King novels. Trailers are very good.
It's
Looks.
a movie or a show?
It's going to be a series. It's
Series.
original
Series.
content, new content based on existing Stephen King stories.
Oh.
It's the properties.
So there's a lot of elements from previous stories, and Castle Rock is a setting that he has used before. He sets almost
Where
everything
is
in
it
Maine. It's always
I
Maine.
know, but where
Where?
is it in the Dark Tower?
I believe Castle Rock probably. Yeah, I'm sure it gets a mention.
It's in Gotham. I can't remember.
It
that.
gets a
Maybe with the
mention.
Hitler Brothers? I don't know.
It gets a mention all the time. So
Yeah.
this
I have to reread
the
this
trailer looks. The one I watched
Badass.
looks creepy as.
Yeah.
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 Are you gonna watch it? I know you don't
Stephen
like
King.
horror.
I'm going to because I love Stephen King.
Gotcha.
And
Sure.
I'm good.
But you're gonna be
There's
The nice,
you're
the
gonna
nice
shit
thing
yourself,
with
probably.
series,
certain
though,
horror
this
that
is
you
one
can
of those things. Series I can handle because I can usually there's either commercial breaks or I can pause and leave.
Yeah.
That's why I like to watch scary stuff at home. I don't like to go to the movies
Yeah.
because it freaks me out. I'm trapped. I feel like I'm trapped in the
You're
theater.
not trapped in your own home.
No, I can leave. Can't you leave your own home?
I've never left my own home because a movie scared me.
Oh, I
so
have.
much.
Oh, I have.
God, yeah.
Oh,
I have
man.
not left my home. I've left the room.
I've left my home.
If I'm scared, I'm not leaving my home.
I've
My
like-
home is my bastion.
I'm
of
also watching that during the day, so I'm gonna go outside and get the sun
There you
on
go.
my face
Right.
for a
There you go.
minute.
There you
and
go.
not be scared. anymore.
Yeah, I'm
Sure.
gonna kiss my dog a little bit, and it'll be okay. I
Yes.
don't know. This looks. It looks interesting. It looks freaky. It looks creepy.
It looks well done.
It looks really well. The production values.
Yes.
Real good.
And
Again, another J.J. Abrams. We've been talking about him all day.
the dude. Am I wrong?
my
But the
Lord.
dude who plays Pennywise in the new
Yep.
It.
Yeah.
It's him.
He's
yeah.
got-
Shows
Gotta
up
roll.
in the basement of
Skarsgård.
Shawshank
Bill
Prison,
Skarsgård.
and nobody knows how he got there. Oh, okay. There's no
And he does
record
the
of
little
him.
like lazy eye twitch thing. Oh, that guy's
Oh
awesome.
no, it's so creepy.
Yeah, Skarsgård, really good in it.
The whole Skarsgård family are
Yeah,
they're talented,
talented
they're
and hot.
talented actrons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie.
He's
I
yeah.
watched it. I just it lost me when he started dancing.
the new It.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen it,
I
but
can't-
I've read
I
Scared the
haven't.
shit out of me.
I'm sure
I
the old
can't-
It will scare the shit out of me. That one,
Actually
I was
screamed
like nervous.
in the
I was
theater.
like, okay, this is not going to be fun. This isn't going to be pretty. And it opened up, and he starts doing that weird little move, and I literally burst out laughing. I was like, this is the most absurd shit I've ever seen. I thought this was supposed to be scary.
I
You
think
built all this up to be
No,
terrifying.
that's actually why I said watch the old It, because it's so campy.
it's very campy. But there's something really interesting and menacing in Tim Curry's performance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
No,
Guys,
I
we've
like
strayed.
that.
Well,
We've
actually,
strayed.
it's
Well,
also
no,
Stephen
we're
King.
still
It's
Yeah.
related.
and
It
and
is.
honestly, it's Stephen King. It's a Stephen King property, right? And it's like I said, Bill Skarsgård's character shows up in the basement of Shawshank Redemption.
I saw a lot. It alluded to. I guess that
They allude to a lot.
What we talk. Stephen King universe is what we kind of.
Which it is, and that's like Dark Tower. He brings a lot of it together. This is
so
sort
they're doing
of,
the
this
Marvel
almost seems
thing,
like
except
a parallel
with Stephen King.
Dark Tower kind of concept because it's bringing a lot of existing characters and
Stephen
stories.
King's going to be in this, and he's going to be God.
He might.
Maybe.
That would be
Maybe.
amazing.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I'm
Spoiler.
going to give this one a high score. Like, how about like a 90?
I
89.
I think it's going to be like 84,
Yeah. I think like 84, 85.
something
I'm
like
down with
that.
that.
Sure.
I say 80. Yeah.
Because
that works.
it looks really good. It looks really well made, and J.J. Abrams is involved also.
Yeah.
And
Critics like him.
And I already
Bad
said
robot.
his stuff tends to be solid.
Yep.
It's true. It's true. And Unfriended Dark Web.
What
27%.
Like, yeah,
I don't
27.
know.
I was
What
gonna
is
say
this? What is
I don't
this?
know.
So this is a film.
I feel like the grandmother at the table. What is this you kids are talking
So
about?
the
The
f-
dark web? What is that?
If I'm not mistaken,
It's
the
not
first
the
movie
actual
came out
dark
like
web.
a couple years ago, and it's like all like kind of like webcam based films,
Yeah.
which is a thing that's been happening for the last several years. So you might be mixing it up with other ones.
Okay, but instead of found footage, now, yeah.
It's
There's a bunch
it's
of
like a
movies
streaming,
like
yeah.
that. So this is one of those.
This
Yes.
is one of those.
Okay.
This is a
And
sequel
actually,
to one of those.
I've now that we talked about this is there is it's starting to pick up a genre. There's another one with John Cho.
Okay.
Oh,
and he's looking for his daughter.
That actually
and
looks
it's
upsetting
it's
and
the same. It's the same sort of setup.
I also
he's
just love John Cho. Just for the record, I love him.
And so this one is the I don't know. I didn't watch the first one, but I imagine it's the same character, a cast of people, a cast of friends, and now they're going into the dark web, something like that.
I don't think it's the same people.
No.
I think it's a whole different. It's a whole different thing.
I did not get the feel
It's
from
new
the
people?
trailer that this was a sequel to anything.
Oh, it's a sequel in name, but not in.
I'm almost positive Unfriended is a movie.
Yeah.
Then this is the sequel.
This is, I don't think this is the
Google
next
it.
movie.
I
Not
don't
so
think
much.
it's
I wouldn't say
I
this is a
see.
sequel.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think it's
like
a sequel.
these
Part of the
people
same
don't
universe.
seem to
Is
know
it like?
what's happening.
Is it like that? Those movies where the people die by the accidents?
No.
And it's
Sort of.
But it's like a sequel.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's a
Yes.
sequel, but it's not really because
It's
all
not the same
individual-
people. Yeah, it's
Yes.
the universe. Yeah.
Yeah, because
What are
from
those
what
movies?
it looks
Final
like
Destination.
from
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was
from
like, what am I
the
looking
trailers
for? Yeah,
I
yeah.
have
It's
watched,
understandable now.
which has been several because they keep popping up on YouTube.
They're calling it a standalone sequel.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
there you go.
exactly
There you
what
go.
I'm thinking.
We'll meet in the middle with
So
you.
like Final
There you go.
Destination-esque.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
okay.
don't know. There's something. He's like, you have my laptop. I want it back, and he sends him this after he like kills his friend.
The first movie had a $64 million on a $1 million budget.
Yeah.
Well, webcam movies don't.
Because it wasn't
take
very
much.
much. Yeah, there was nothing to it. It was all just webcams.
That is really good stats, though, for any movie to have a 1 to
That's
64.
that's
ratio.
why we have
You know
you
what?
unfriended the dark web.
You know what? That's not like for anybody who may or may not be a filmmaker in the room or watching this. Like, be aware
Yeah, see,
it can
'cause
be
this
done.
This one has like terrorized online by an anonymous person. This one seems to have a specific reason.
Gotcha.
So the first
You have something of mine, and I want it back, and I'm going to keep killing you until you give it to me.
It's also like I know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But on the computer.
Yes, but on the computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Technology.
It looks
Sure.
lame
I'm watching
as
you
shit.
catch up, like it's like.
I just this kind of horror movie. This is some. I will not. I don't
No.
care. I
Don't
don't
care.
care.
It
It's like
looks really
Hostel.
lame.
It's like Final Destination. I don't give a shit. I'm
I
never
actually
gonna see
do
it.
wonder who the demographic is for this. If it's
Yeah.
high school kids,
Is
or
it
if it's,
teenagers?
like just horror enthusiasts, maybe.
Maybe.
Horror
Maybe
people
because
watch
I'm like,
everything.
our
They
high
do.
school
They'll watch
students
anything.
really, they seem like not the type to be just
No.
sitting on their computers, chatting, using AIM with their webcams. Like that's sort of like what we
That's our
think
generation.
teenagers do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like that's what I did
age-
10
yeah.
years ago.
There's like 10, yeah.
Those are the millennials, and they're all like almost 30 now,
Yeah.
and I don't know who you're aimed at. Unfriended
like we don't
dark
chat
web.
on our computers.
Yeah.
anymore.
I'm confused by the
I mean,
face
Facebook
at the
Messenger, I
top.
guess, kind of.
No.
Is it upside down? Is it right side up? Is that a face?
That's a face.
That's a face.
That's a face. Which he's got a bag over the top
Wrapped
of her
around
head.
her top of her head.
Yeah, so like
It's
to
like
be,
a Smith's
those
bag.
are hands. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. To
okay.
be fair, like some of the images
Oh.
from it are very like
Graphic and-
disturbing.
yeah.
and
That's
graphic.
that.
Well,
I'm
it's
not-
one of and it's one of those
not
things where
into
they
that.
just show a split
Yeah, no.
second of
Nope,
it, and I
nope.
don't. I'm like, if you're gonna show it, show it.
Yeah,
Sure.
no, I don't want to. I don't
Sure.
care. I don't care.
27%.
27.
Sure. Yeah.
I vote
Oh,
27.
so Mamma Mia and Dark Web are going to get the same score. Of
Yeah,
27.
sure.
We will see next week.
That's why 27's in our brain, isn't it?
That is why I was like, why does that number feel so? We already did that. Oh yeah.
Yay.
And we'll get back to you. So make sure to tune in to episode 42.
I bet you the audience percent is going to be higher on Unfriended Dark Web too, but it's not going to be crazy high.
Not that high.
It'll be like
It's going to be like 37.
it'll be like 41.
I feel like 40, somewhere in the 40s.
43 or something.
Because
it's not high though.
Because the
That's
audience
not high.
that's watching this, they wanted to watch.
Yes, they wanted to watch it.
They are choosing it in their life for whatever
Unknown
reason.
reasons.
And then they
They
will
make
say,
poor
"Oh,
choices."
it's great." But
Let us know if you watch it. Let us know what you think. You might love it.
please
us.
tell us.
Maybe.
All right,
we're
Jessica, you chose last week's required viewing. Tell us why you chose it.
Well, I hadn't seen it since I was probably a teenager, so I'll be honest about that. I wasn't sure if it still held up, but for some reason, something I was watching recently reminded me of it, and I had some sort of nostalgia and was like, I want to watch this. It's really old. It's like from the 1970. And you know what? Dylan hated it, but I still love it, and I don't care what you say, Dylan. Garcia.
I think you have like nostalgia glasses to the max for this.
Probably, but I don't care.
I
still
haven't
like
seen this movie in
It's-
years, but I will absolutely admit to having nostalgia glasses on because this is like a treasured childhood
Oh my God,
Disney
yeah.
Channel viewing movie for me.
I mean, it even
Yeah.
looks like an old book.
Angela Lansbury. You'll notice also that the bear, that's Baloo.
I was about to say
From
is that
Jungle Book.
Baloo? And
And
that's
the
And that's
King.
King
King
John
John.
from
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
This looks like the Three Children in It to me. This looks like this literally looks like the cover of a book I read
Yep,
when I was
yep,
a
it
kid.
does.
yeah,
What were you
it's
gonna say,
yeah.
Stan?
Oh no, I just it actually for me it had like a Mary Poppins vibe.
Mary
Sure.
Poppins for sure.
Well, I kind of looked into it. You know, it's the Sherman Brothers did all the music. That did the music for Mary Poppins, and then it's basically the whole Mary Poppins crew came back and
Yeah.
they wanted to make something else.
But
and
it's
that's-
Angela.
This is
But it's
after.
Angela. This is
It's
after Mary
Angela
Poppins.
Lansbury, not
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. So they kind of did. It's almost the
Julie
same
Andrews.
story. Even
Yeah, the actors that
Just-
she plays opposite that man.
Yeah.
He's also
He's like
in
the
Mary
Ministry
Poppins.
of.
Yeah, that's Mr.
It's not the
He's the
dad.
man. No,
but
he's
he
like
is
the
in
bank guy, I
Yeah,
think.
he
Yeah.
is in Mary Poppins.
Look up that guy's IMDb and go to like the trivia section. That guy, his ex-wife, did a
Murdered their
murder-suicide
children,
with
yeah.
her own children.
Holy shit.
And this guy was just left alone.
Wow.
I forget what happened. They jump off a bridge or something.
Goddamn.
She put them in a car or something.
Oh my
and,
God.
like,
Dude,
drove
it's
them off
crazy.
a
I was like, this
bridge
is the
or
gnarliest
something.
trivia I've ever read. in my
Right?
life.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
It
Between
is.
that and Woody Harrelson's serial killer
Serial
dad,
killer dad.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
not
or
cool.
hitman,
Or hitman
dad,
dad.
It was a
yeah.
hitman,
It was
yeah.
a hired
which
killer.
technically
Serial.
would be a
Yeah.
serial killer,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
For
but just
hire.
for pay.
For
Yeah,
money.
not for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for shits and
We
giggles.
got that's an important
for
distinction.
money.
It's good to know that this was Mary Poppins related. It's the same crew.
Yeah,
sure.
and and
Okay.
it's not that far time wise. Yeah, it's that makes sense, and the Sherman Brothers as well.
The writing, though, is so much different than Mary Poppins. This movie
Yeah.
goes off the rails like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I've never seen a movie like start off like, okay, I like act one, like I'm interested. I see what's happening. I see where it's going.
Yeah.
And then just like
Yeah, it does.
makes the hardest left turn I've ever
does.
seen
Yeah.
in a film. I'm
Yeah.
probably exaggerating, but it was
Mary Poppins is based on books.
okay. So it had
So there's source material there. There's another movie that's Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney, and
yes,
it's a whole thing about him trying to
finding Mr. Banks,
Finding Mr.
something like that.
Something about Mr.
Something
Banks.
about
so
Mr.
what
Banks.
you're saying is don't let these writers do their own thing. If they
Apparently,
have source material. Then
yeah,
good to
because
go.
because she wrote these books about Mary Poppins, or this book, maybe I think it's more than one.
It's
Okay.
more than one.
And then but this is, I think this is its own thing. Which
there are
is
more than one because I've read one of them.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's like a series.
Yeah, they have that. That's where my sister gets her name.
Yeah. Well, I did not. I by the way just found out you have a sister. I totally didn't even remember. Eleanor was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, Eve's sister," and I was like, "Eve has a sister?"
I do.
Tune into Eve's sister. Next
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
Coming this
will-
fall.
She'll cut you. Don't do that.
Nah.
But so that makes sense why this is kind of a hot mess of a movie.
The movie starts off very kind of straightforward. It is a witch, a Wiccan. I don't know, something like that. It's about a woman, and she's got to take care of these 3 kids because she's somehow tied to an adoption agency, which was weird.
Yeah.
And so I
World
was
War
like,
One.
I could kind of get on board with that, but then prior to that, there was a scene of 50 old men marching, and it was World War I, I was like, all right, that was a weird turn.
Yeah.
And they didn't connect them at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm kind of still on board. She meets the kids. She brings them home, and they learn that she's a witch, and it's okay. What's going to happen from here? And then that's when it goes off the rails. That whole first 30 minutes is fine.
And they ride a bed.
Yeah.
They turn the bed knobs on the bed.
Oh, bed knobs.
Bed knobs and broomsticks.
And broomsticks.
And it's a traveling bed.
It's a traveling bed. It's a magic traveling
Okay,
bed.
learn how to edit, people.
Yeah. It's not good.
It was 1970.
Don't put
Can you
World
give them
War
a freaking
I
break?
in with it. Like they shoved it in there
Yeah.
for a big battle scene at the end.
See
Yeah.
how Angela Lansbury's
20s. You've had 50 years to figure this out.
she's flying with her little World War I helmet on. Yeah, it's a mess of a move. They dance with.
It is a mess.
The whole
I still
cartoon
like it.
scene was so long.
Yeah.
And it was just to add some
I'm
slapstick
sorry,
for
is
kids.
it not a cartoon?
No.
The whole movie is not.
And then
It's
they
like Mary
added-
Poppins. There's
There's
an animated sequence.
There's a sequence, but
Yeah,
it's long.
It's not. It's a live action film, and then all of a sudden they put a 20-minute cartoon in the middle of the movie that has nothing to do with the rest of the
Yep.
movie. You're watching a 20-minute soccer match.
Was it the land of the animals? I can't remember what that.
I could.
Yes.
Existence.
Something like
It
that,
is
yes. And
weird.
again, capitalizing
Island
on
of the
Mary
Animals or
Poppins, they were
something,
like,
yeah.
well, let's put a cartoon with cartoon animals in the middle
It's
of
the
the
Isle
movie.
of Naboombu,
But
by the
actually-
way.
Naboombu.
Okay, there we go.
There's some sense in that as far as kids' attention span.
Sure.
I'll bet that's why it stuck with you guys so well, because that is what if you've ever been to a kindergarten class, it is just like this movie.
First of all, those people are idiots and they don't know what they're doing.
dumb,
They can't
yeah.
even tie their own shoes.
5-year-olds are dumb.
They're
And that's why they
idiots.
love this movie.
Yeah, it's just it's plot wise. Yeah, if you in my heart, I haven't seen it recently, but in my heart, I'm like, oh, bed knobs and broomsticks.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure if I sat down and watched it, I'd be like, oh God, this is terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't really hold up, but I still have
Still kinda
nostalgia
love it.
factor.
Yeah, I could probably see that if I were a kid and I watched it, and I'd still have that. I have that for the Goonies, although if I try to be objective, I think it's still good.
The Goonies is a good movie.
It's good, right?
That's a
Okay.
solid,
Okay.
good movie.
All right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
80s
writers, Dan Harmon, hates it, so
good
sometimes I
80s
think I don't know what I'm
film.
talking about.
Always trying to kill
Dan
the main
Harmon.
character and everything.
Dan Harmon doesn't know everything. I'm a fan of his. He doesn't
Sure,
know everything.
sure.
The Goonies is a solid movie. Stands up.
All right, Bad Knobs and Broomsticks
Doesn't stand
I'm
up.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I always feel bad too because when
I think-
No,
give a
don't feel
negative
bad. I
review for
hadn't
a
seen it in
required
probably
viewing-
15 years, to be honest.
I want to say too that I think there might be a little lost in translation to us as 2018 Americans.
Sure.
This is a very British movie.
Yes.
So I think that might be a little have to do with it as well. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not batshit and all of those things, but it's very, it's got very British sensibilities. That's kind of what I took away from it.
You might get a kick out of it.
And if I'm gonna say some positives, if you're gonna force it out of me, I really liked one of the kids a lot. All the kids as an ensemble, they were pretty good, but there was one kid in particular that was really
The little
adorable.
boy, the littlest one.
Yeah, who barely said
the blonde
anything, but
hair,
he was
Paul.
really everything he
He's just a
said
little-
was really funny,
Yeah.
and well done, and he was adorable. And all the acting's pretty good, and the singing.
The
Some
two
of the music
I
wasn't
forget his
good.
name. Her and Angela Lansbury and him are great.
They're good together.
They're there.
Yeah.
Like Angela's working.
They're committed.
You know, yeah. No, she's there. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
Portobello
dude.
Road is the best song in the movie.
Portobello
Just
Road.
saying.
No.
Portobello Road. I couldn't remember that.
I
So
don't
good.
know. I did like some of the music. I didn't like the rest.
Angela
I think
Lansbury's
that
a gem.
She is.
True,
She is.
true.
She is a goddess.
the whole movie. I thought it was kind of like them experimenting with green screen. Like what can we do with green screen and some strings attached to these people's backs?
true.
And there was a lot of that, and so
That's an interesting way to think of that.
it's
I wonder.
a
If,
ton of it.
I wonder if that's what was going on.
and it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Bad.
The
I don't know.
The
That-
underwater
the-
scene was actually kind of cool.
The end is. I thought the end is a lot of fun. That's the one thing I remembered
Sure.
from that was the end that I remember really liking.
Okay.
And then I remember.
Green screen thing.
Yeah,
too,
no,
where
it was
they-
Kevin Smith. He wants to remake this, like
Whoa.
literally just to remake the end battle.
Really?
Like that's his main motivator. But I was like, okay, I like that. I'm down with
Kevin
that.
Smith does.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good things and fun things. I will say this: when I first saw it, I hated it because I saw, and I didn't know this. I had to look it up. I saw a special edition.
Okay.
And if you've never seen it, that's not the version you should
Special
watch.
edition is worse somehow?
because it's longer. All of the music,
This
all
movie
of
was so long
yes,
as it was.
yes,
2
yes,
hours.
2 hours
yes.
of nonsense.
And see, it just drug. Like the Portobello Road is already like 20 minutes.
It's really
like
long.
it's like 30 minutes in the. It
Yeah.
seriously goes
Come in
on
with-
and
so
on.
I came in with fresh eyes. Like I'm interested to see what you might think if you ended up watching it. It's on Amazon. That's where I think that's where we're watching it.
You're not selling it, man. Do you
Yeah.
like Mary Poppins?
On
The
acid.
book or
The movie.
The movie. I am okay with the movie.
Okay, then you might be like meh about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to really like Mary Poppins probably to even
Yeah.
remotely
Well,
like
I mean,
this.
I like it, but Mary Poppins has like a plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't have much.
This
about
is
it.
all over the.
I have a
well,
lot of, and I have a lot of like memories of the. I have a lot of memories of the book that I read, and there's a lot of stories in the book that I am really fond of that were never put on screen. But like what you're talking about, the flying bed,
Again,
there is
yeah.
a scene where they're having tea on the ceiling.
yeah.
Like as soon as they walk in, they just float. And Mary Poppins, the thing I loved about Mary Poppins is that whenever they are in the situation, she treats it as if it's normal, and then they leave the situation, and the kids will talk about it, and she's like, "What are you talking about?"
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
That
Also,
never.
are
I don't
guys
know what you're
excited the
talking
new Mary
about.
Poppins?
Oh,
No.
shush, children, let's go.
Ridiculous children.
You're not excited about the new Mary Poppins.
As I don't really
And we need
care.
to start.
Yeah,
You
I'm
guys
just like,
excited about the new
I
one?
didn't really like the old
I
one.
wouldn't say I'm excited, but I probably will go and see it.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Miss
yeah.
Emily Blunt. I
I
do
do
enjoy
too.
Mr. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I may watch it just for Emily Blunt.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I'll
I
give
like
it a
that.
go. I'll give it a
I'll
go.
probably see it. I
But
don't know if I'll
think-
see it in theaters.
I'm not excited.
Oh, the
I'm
only
not
thing.
like woohoo. I'm just gonna like
Yeah, like
Luke
it was
was
cute.
I stand behind. I think it's a little too British for us.
Sure.
Because I mean I don't know shit about World War One, and it's tied. It's a big plot point in this
Yeah.
movie.
But is it?
Well, I mean that's the
You
driving
hate it.
force. That's right.
Is
it?
Yeah, because this movie has like 5 plot. I don't
Right,
know.
right.
I don't understand.
It's
No, I
this
get it.
one
film.
of the 5.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of the 5.
Hey,
Well,
you
her
know-
mission is to end the war as a witch. That's her mission. So that's why I see it as that's the main like
I have to say,
thread.
I
We
didn't
don't
even
have
look
to
at-
like each other's stuff. I hated that. I still hate that show that you love.
You don't
with
need
Don
to
Cheadle.
apologize for having an
What show?
opinion.
What is that show you like with Don
Jessica
Cheadle?
dislikes House of Lies.
Oh, I hate that
it is a
show. It is
Showtime
so
I never watched
sexist
it.
and misogynist
I've never
and
seen it.
terrible.
Yeah, it's
Bummer.
basically Californication on Showtime. So, which is
Okay.
a show you love, which is also
Whatever.
all of those things. By
Yeah,
the
but
way.
it's actually funny and good.
no, Don Cheadle's a genius. You're wrong.
Oh no.
Anyways,
Well, anywho, moving
you guys
on.
leave, we're fighting
Guys,
out.
we love each other.
When
it's
we
actually our
leave in
8-year
3 hours.
anniversary.
No, we live here now. We all live
No, but
here
the reason I
now.
apologize is because like sometimes I like this happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to other people. Like when you like offer something in required viewing, especially that you like, sometimes it like feels like you're personally attacking somebody.
No.
Or
Oh,
being
yeah.
attacked when
No.
you're like, I love this.
It
thing.
doesn't
I
feel
feel
like
you.
that at
Oh yeah,
all.
but yeah, if we can all try to remember the things we care about do not define us.
Sure.
Then
Yeah.
I think we can
No.
we can safely say you did not like this movie, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in many years, but I have like a nostalgia spot, a warm spot in my heart for it.
Sure.
But I am willing to admit that it's probably not a good movie.
It's not.
I only remember like chunks of it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
reason for
Yeah,
that.
that's
the chunks I remember aren't even that
chunky
great.
movie.
It's
Yeah.
That's how I feel
chunky.
about the 10th Kingdom.
Oh, I love the 10th Kingdom.
Oh my god, have you rewatched it lately?
No.
Yeah.
See, this
Wow.
is
Don't.
the thing. When you
Stay
watch-
where you're at.
Again, much like Grease 2 and Mamma Mia, that's where 10th Kingdom was for me. Even the first time I saw it,
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
it
this
gets-
is not good.
It just, I was watching and I went, oh.
I have a question
Nice.
for
Yeah.
you two.
Yes,
How are you? First off,
I'm okay. I'm a
I'm
little
good.
hungry.
A little hungry,
How
yeah.
are
A
you?
little hungry.
Yeah.
Probably a lot hungry. Actually, now that I think about
we
it.
still got more of night. But do either of you want to come back next week, or do you plan, or do you have time to come back next week?
Yes.
Yeah, please check. The reason I ask is because
Probably
you guys
can.
will then be able to choose the next required view, and we've been doing it around about us three
Ah.
for a while. So if you're interested,
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
can totally come back next week.
cool.
Me too.
Sweet. So one of you guys want to Rochambeau? You've never been able to choose one. You have before, is that
No.
correct? You haven't. You've been
No.
on the show a lot.
I know.
Interesting.
I've never
I
chosen.
feel like it's
Choose
your
one.
turn
Choose
to
one.
Choose one.
Ah, Jesus. Okay.
You give yourself till the end of the episode,
You get
and then
till
we'll
the
Okay.
end of the
announce it.
show to think about
Okay.
it.
Great.
Sound good?
Good.
And
exciting.
there's paper and pencil right here. I had to write down
Yeah, if you want to make a couple options too, you're more than welcome to.
Okay.
So think about it as we go through the rest of the show.
You get to choose.
It could be
Feels
something
special.
new, whatever,
Yeah,
something old,
yeah.
something you love, something you hate.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Oh, something you hate.
Oh yeah.
That's a
We want to see.
Oh
that
man.
stuff.
Oh man.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to our next segment, which is trailers.
Trailers.
We'll watch a couple trailers and then call this show an end. That's the
A
word I was
night?
looking for.
Whoa man. Whoa.
That's all, folks.
We've been here for we've been here like 3 hours already.
Literally.
I've been working
Yeah,
on
sure.
Screen Source since like 2 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
Word.
I love this show. I love film. I love television. Let's watch some trailers.
Let's
This is
do
the
it.
first one we got going on. Also, the game here is watch, rent, or skip. Pretty simple. We're all going to decide individually whether or not we would watch, rent, or skip it. If it's a Netflix or something like that, then the rent would be the equivalent of leaving it in your queue.
Okay.
So
Already I'm not feeling confident because this is called Hellfest.
Hellfest. All right, let's get ready for some Hellfest.
Okay.
2-minute teaser.
I feel great about it.
Cool. Okay.
Haunted house.
Say no touch.
Yeah. Candyman.
Not haunted house. Sorry. Haunted
CBS film.
carnival.
Oh my god, you're here? What? It's Halloween. I got us VIP passes to help us.
What is that?
It's a traveling horror night. Has horror mazes in it. You would totally lose it in there.
It's gonna be fun, right?
Why are we signing a waiver? Well, because the liability is, hey bitch.
There's an actual house.
A couple years ago,
Yeah.
some girl got totally gutted.
Killer left her body in the park for 3 days. They thought she was a freaking prop.
Some people are just evil.
They walk amongst you.
She gonna die.
You think you're scaring me? No. Move.
The more scared you seem, the more they're gonna come after you. You have to just play it cool.
Help me! Please help me! You can just do it.
Ooh.
That was insane, right? Yeah, it felt real.
That goes
What do I know?
The same guy's been following us the entire night.
You take your job too seriously.
This really isn't funny, dude.
Help me! Help me!
You came here to be scared, right? I can't arrest people for doing their job. Welcome to Hellfest.
I kind of like those last lines.
Interesting.
Welcome to Hellfest.
Hey, can you let me out of here?
Skip. Big ol' skip.
Really? I was like, this is like a Bridget movie when I was picking it out.
Yeah. No.
First of all, I don't like going to haunted houses.
Oh, I
Okay.
hate it.
I worked in quarantine last year, and even
Okay.
that sometimes scared me. And
Yeah, I worked in quarantine last year. I didn't see you.
what?
Yeah.
But I was there.
Quarantine last year was horrifying. It scared the shit out of me.
Quarantine last year was not as scary as the
For
zombies
those of
in
you
the
that know what
corn
quarantine
maze.
is, also it should be clear too. Like,
Oh.
I'm at a table full of like directors, actors, producers, writers, etc. These guys works at horror or at a local with a local theater company.
It's a local theater company's haunted house, but that's not quite right. And last year's was
interactive.
Was
It's like an, a
interactive.
haunted interactive experience.
Yeah, but I was working it last year.
I jumped 3 feet straight in the air.
I don't know if I can do
Straight
it again.
in the air. No one saw it. I was behind everyone because that's where I need
Yeah.
one person because they always come from behind. So one bait here and bait
Yeah.
here, and
Yeah, yeah.
I stay in the middle and
Yeah.
I'm safe.
So I was working at that, so I knew what everything was, and there were still we would do walkthroughs, and I still got scared.
You were there that night when I was there, weren't you? I think you were like the lady that came out of the
Okay.
No, maybe not.
I don't know.
Anyway,
it was
that's
terrifying.
You guys can figure that out
Yeah,
later.
no, I'm definitely not seeing
The
that.
director of this film is Gregory Plotkin.
Oh, I know that name.
I don't know if he's really plotkin so much as plot vague.
Very
Why
nice.
do I know his name?
A Black Mass. It was a short, I guess. A Paranormal Activity. Produced and directed one of them, or is going to. I haven't heard of the Ghost.
The Ghost Dimension? I don't know.
But then edited a ton of films. Game
okay.
Night, Happy Death Days. So some comedies, some scary films.
Cool.
Get Out. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one, the best one. Presumably.
Okay.
Saving Ryan's Privates.
Is that a porn?
It's a short.
Sure, it's a porn.
It's a short film.
And it might be.
It sounds like a porn.
So that's the director. It was originally supposed to be directed by Jennifer Lynch, daughter of David Lynch.
Oh,
nice.
But I guess that did not end up happening. Starring Bex Taylor Klaus, who is from the comedy series House of Lies. We were just talking about that. And then the other girl who's starring in it, you mentioned she's in Channel Zero No End House, which was a sci-fi original, actually.
Oh, we're talking about Hellfest still.
Yes. What do you think we were talking about?
I got distracted by it.
No, we're still talking about Hellfest. We're gonna be watching another trailer soon, so she's already moved on.
Can you imagine on the basis of sex being directed by
That's why I was like...
It's like, wow.
I was working things out in my head, and I was like, this is not adding up. That's why.
So, yeah, I guess, like, first off, how would you guys feel about that?
Skip.
Lukewarm.
It reminded me of
Skip. Absolutely skip.
The houses October built. I don't know if you guys ever seen. It's like found footage. So what they're doing is they're going across country to go all these different haunted houses.
That's a cool
experience,
yeah.
and they follow
real haunted houses.
I think the first one. Well, it's a fictional movie.
Oh,
but I think they do use real. That's a real like industry.
But,
the haunting.
But
and
yeah,
they're looking,
that's the
they're looking for the
premise
ultimate scare.
Oh, sure.
Is what they're looking for, and then they
don't do that.
find
That's
it.
how you die. That's how a bunch of
See,
car
now
full of white folks dies.
That sounds more entertaining than this.
And it looked from what I saw, it probably was.
Also, there was a Bones episode that they did this in.
Right.
Because I've watched them all. I love Bones. I do too. But
I don't know her name, but one of the lead girls.
They thought it was a prop.
She's from again that show that we mentioned called
think it's a prop.
Channel Zero.
No
End House, which is also about a scary
same
house.
thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's a common theme.
Yeah.
Although I don't believe that whole they thought it was a prop. They had it for a week. No bullshit. You know the difference between a human body and a non.
That's actually based on real life though. That in that
was it a mummy
in the movie? Yeah, in the movie, they addressed that. There was an actual traveling show that had an actual. Well, it was a prop, and it turned out to be an actual human.
But did they know that? And it's a skeleton. That's different.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like the way they were it's a dead body that's been dead
okay,
for like a week.
Then from there they go. There was an actual. Somebody died.
There's a case of somebody had like they did. So again, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly it was like they decorated their front yard for Halloween, and that there was a woman's body, not for a week, it was for a couple of days, and people walked by.
All right, articles or didn't happen. This sounds a lot like urban legend, y'all.
Yeah, it does.
This is some creepypasta shit.
Yeah.
It's a cool creepypasta idea.
It's cool. It's a cool idea, but I'm like, yeah, but come on, like the difference.
Yeah.
Like from a distance, yeah, that's a mannequin. You get up closer, oh, that's a human.
Right,
Yeah, sure.
I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
All right, on the basis of sex.
Here we go.
I'm gonna say
Now for something completely different.
yeah, I think pretty much.
So, what one Ohio woman thought was a Halloween decoration was something much more horrifying. It was the body of a woman who'd been beaten to death hanging from a fence.
2015.
Wow.
2015.
Sorry, that is not.
So they thought it was a decoration.
That is because no one went up close
to it.
Yeah,
and it's not in the middle of a Halloween.
The other one, it was the same. It was like a prop
woman who
background,
found
and they
the
thought
Black
it was something
Dahlia
else.
thought it was a mannequin until she got closer. That's what I'm saying. From a distance, yes, but this kind of thing where they're like they had it for a week as a prop.
You know, it's interesting.
The people who work there would notice all of a sudden there's a new hanging body here,
right. But
and the second you walked up to it and touched it, you'd be like, "That is human."
Right? They're like. I just watched a short, almost like kind of like documentary called The Push recently, and We've gone
Yeah,
very
I've seen
far
that too.
in how well we can make dead bodies. It's insane, to the point where like they're putting real hair into like
Mannequins.
mannequin
Yeah.
flesh looking things.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
amazing. Like you would never even, you couldn't tell in the documentary thing I was watching.
Yeah.
But,
But I
anyways,
think the trick is
I would
if
take
you-
that test.
If you walk up close to it, theoretically, you should be able to.
Right.
Yes,
You
and
should
that's
be
what I mean.
able
Like
to
I would
tell.
take that test because there is
If
something.
nothing else,
what is
there's-
it? What is
there's
it called? The
smell.
uncanny. It's like uncanny valley.
The uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It's not yourself that you're looking at, but it's something similar. Like you're looking at it and you're like, there's something off. There's something really unsettling about
I'm gonna
this.
show you the video. It's incredible. Like how far this stuff has got. Anyways,
If
There
there's
we
a
go.
smell,
Yes.
I will
It's
detect
still a
it. though.
video.
We digress.
we
a lot.
digress. Let's move
As we
on
do.
to On the Basis of Sex.
I feel the fire begin to rise.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh,
There are 178 laws that differentiate on the basis of sex. Women can't work overtime. We have to get credit cards in our husband's name. We're not allowed to work in mines.
This is a man's world.
You think you can change the country? You should look to her generation. They're taking to the streets.
Protests are important, but changing the culture means nothing if the law doesn't change.
What did you say your name was?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I want to be a lawyer. I want to represent clients in pursuit of justice.
So they're gonna give you a corner office?
I wasn't what they were looking for. One said women are too emotional to be lawyers. Another told me a woman graduating top of her class must be a real ball buster. I worked hard. I did everything I was supposed to, and I excelled.
Martin Ginsburg will be signing all of our checks someday.
You're a smart girl, Ruthie. You married a star.
If the law differentiates on the basis of sex, then how will women and men ever become equals? I don't read tax court cases.
Read this one.
The law assumes a caregiver has to be a woman. This is sex-based discrimination against a man.
Poor guy.
We need to take this case.
This is not a case. This is a declaration of war.
It could topple the whole damn system of discrimination.
They think gender equality is a civil right. What's at stake is the American family. Let's put this idea to bed once and for all. You will lose. And when you do, you will set the women's movement back 10 years.
You don't get to tell me when to quit. I know this case disrupted our lives.
Who's it for, if not for me?
You've been ready for this your whole life. So go in there and let the judges see the Ruth Ginsburg I know.
We're not asking you to change the country. That's already happened without any court's permission.
The word woman does not appear even once in the U.S. Constitution.
Nor does the word freedom. Your Honor.
Boom.
Mic drop. That's what they call it.
That's Ruth Bader motherfucking Ginsburg.
Mimi leader.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
RBG.
Girl power.
Go ahead. What's your complaint?
Please stop casting British people in roles like that. Like, it's a thing, it's my thing, but dialects and accents are a thing for me. And she's so clearly British. She's
Yeah.
trying real hard not to
Yeah.
be, and she had a dialect coach.
So when you say things like that, you mean like things of, like, about Americans?
No, I mean, just don't cast British people when I promise you could have found an American actress to play the part of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's not that big of a star. There's no
True.
reason to have cast her. And for me, I really desperately want to see that movie. And I am very agitated right now, and I will not be able to because I cannot not hear how British she is.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say she's not that big of a star because she was in a Star Wars film.
Yeah, I know.
Arguably the biggest franchise.
But she's not that big yet.
But she's not.
Sure.
She's
She's
on the
not.
rise.
Right.
She's on the rise.
But
she's
like
not that
for
big
me,
yet.
I'm like, oh fuck, I can't watch a movie
Wait,
about Ruth
who
Bader
is
Ginsburg.
she?
She was
She's
in. She
from
played Jenner.
She's
so
Rogue
One.
One. Rogue One.
in Rogue
yeah.
One. Or as the internet likes to spell it, Rouge One.
Yeah, Rouge One. No, I definitely saw it. I just don't remember who that is.
She was the lead girl.
Then I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of the other. I can't keep them straight. I'm sorry, the internet.
Couple of British.
Daisy. I'm thinking of
couple
Daisy.
of British girls with brown hair. Very easy mistake to make.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just so it's literally this is a personal, very personal thing, and it really bums me out because I super want to hear that. But now that I've heard her talking in the trailer, I'm gonna have a really hard time if I try to go see that movie and not be actively like twitching. Because if you can't do the accent properly, then you are not the right person for the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that I noticed it, or
most people would not.
Or,
I did.
or like would.
I
even
noticed
normally
it.
Care that much?
Most
like,
people would not care either. It's literally
No, it
me.
bugs
It's
me.
my personal thing. It's really hard for me
well,
to
also,
watch.
Like, you're a director, and these are the things you think about.
And as an actor, I take dialects very seriously. And if I could not perform a dialect and sound as though I am that accent, if I can't do it with realism, then I'm not going to do it. And to me, I think most of the time in movies in particular, if you can get pretty close, they don't mind. But it's like when Americans do shitty British accents, if you try to sound like you're from, Dublin and you're not doing it, I can hear it. I can hear you're mediocre. And it's the same with British actors being various American accents. They tend to hit their R's too hard. Yep. And she's hitting her R's a little bit too hard.
Yep.
I want to ask you what you felt about like the trailer and story.
Yeah, because as soon as she said Ruth, I heard you go, ugh, and I was like, what?
Yeah, the bummer part of it is I want to watch the movie because I'm like, yeah, young Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She is by the way, everybody needs to send her some probiotics. Real life now. Send Ruth Bader Ginsburg probiotics and vitamins. Let's keep her alive for as long as possible.
Keep her alive.
We need her on the Supreme Court. Just politics for a second. I think it's an interesting story. That's not a story that I personally am familiar with from her life. I'm super fascinated by it. I just worry that I personally am going to have a hard time watching it. There is a solution. Probably if I'm a little bit lit, maybe a little bit high, I won't mind as much.
Do the rest of you need to be high?
No, it's literally just me.
I'm actually, that does bug me.
It just doesn't bug
I have to say it does bug me, but it's not going to bug me enough to where I won't actually watch the movie because I'm really interested in the movie and let's keep her alive.
Army Hammer was the husband.
Yes, Army Hammer. He's a great actor.
He is.
I also like Felicity Jones. I think she's a little bit.
Tall.
Yes, he's very tall.
And she's very short. That made me giggle.
The director is Mimi Leder, who did who did Thick as Thieves, Pay It Forward, Deep Impact.
Okay.
And then a lot of television. Too.
Interesting.
ER, Shameless, Leftovers.
Okay.
As executive producer and director.
The West Wing.
She knows the business really well.
Yeah. Sure. Yes.
Emmys.
Some
Awards.
accolades as well.
Yeah.
Specifically for lots of ER nominations.
Great.
So yes, clearly they got some titans behind the film, and they're gonna be talking about titans in front of.
I know how I sound. I know I sound like a crazy person.
No, you don't. You don't. I really think that's annoying.
It's just a thing. It doesn't bother most people. It just bothers me a lot, and so it's hard for me to immerse myself as an audience member, and I usually do for like every movie I watch. I'm suspend my disbelief. I'm in it. Things like that can pull me out, so it will require me like having to do a lot of mental preparation and maybe having a glass of wine before I go.
Lesky, how do you feel
Word.
about it? Not the accent. Please stop talking about that.
I don't care. I will probably see it.
Yeah?
I mean,
in the theater?
It's one maybe not, but it reminds me of Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
Like this is, it's got the feel of a movie that I'm like, I'm probably not going to like this because it's about some dude I don't care about, but the characters are completely people I care about.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it made, like Bridget was saying too, be stories that a lot of us haven't heard. We don't know how she got there. We know that she's there.
Yeah. Correct. We don't know how she came
I
up.
would want to see it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't go see it in the movie theater on my own, but if there were people who wanted to go and they invited me, I would say yes.
Yeah, I'd say I'm on a rent for this one.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I unless somebody was like, no, let's go.
I'll probably go watch it.
I
with
would
my
go
parents.
watch it. Yeah, sure.
I'll watch it. In
I would
theaters
not
with
say
my
no.
parents.
I just
Yeah,
would not
sure.
see it alone.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Like,
if it were left up to me, I think it's a
you wouldn't
rant.
make that effort to like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and see on the
Right.
basis of sex today.
Right.
It's more like, oh, yeah, okay, sure, you go to the movies. Yeah, I'll
It's
go to
gonna
the
be
movies.
like
Yeah.
a little bit like The Post and a little bit like Hidden Figures. It seems like.
Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't see the post.
I didn't-
Also,
yeah, I didn't see the
some
post
of the
yet.
trailers we watched today too, like except for Hellfest, like we're clearly coming into the season of awards.
There you go.
Yeah, I noticed.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
because
Yeah.
the fall, the autumn is when those
The
movies
autumn.
come out.
The autumn.
Which
Yes,
is
autumn is its high
ridiculous for
class.
no
Yeah.
reason.
All right.
Someone just made that decision.
I know, it's
Yay.
weird. It's a really weird, arbitrary thing. Like only the classy movies come out in the fall
Like,
and a little bit in the
release it
winter.
February.
Fun things come out.
Give
in the
us something
summer.
to do.
Yeah, I guess like this is the season for like to watch all of the Halloween trailers and all of the
Highbrow shit.
highbrow stuff.
Highbrow
Crap.
shit.
Oscar bait.
All right.
Well, because they do, and then they nominate everything, and then the awards will be all starting at the beginning of the year. So
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's
yeah,
next?
we'll see what happens. That was the end of our show. Make sure to tune in and watch our Uncharted live action fan film reaction.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
it was
so
very
good.
Cool. So that was the reaction. You don't actually need to go to it anymore.
Done.
Done.
There was
Done.
more.
It's a good time though. But yeah, please go watch it. On youtube.com/color circuit. Again, thank you for sticking around. If you did, if you didn't, then you can't hear me saying I hate you.
Whoa!
It's like if a tree falls in the woods.
Wow, man, you went hard.
I
Yes.
know. Just watch my channel, please.
You're not
I
here
support
more
this.
Than I hate you.
I'm whiskey and I support this.
He doesn't hate anything.
I support this message.
We still
Yeah.
love you.
Yes, we
understand
still love
it's
you.
late.
It's okay. It takes a lot of time and effort. But if you're as big a fan of film and television as we are, please tune in next week. We release shows every Friday at noon-ish. And because San Diego Comic-Con is happening, we're dropping all sorts of trailers on you with this very
Just-
fun cast of characters. Here you go.
Like a water
Take it or
balloon.
leave it. My name is Dylan.
Jessica.
Stanley.
Eve.
Watching thing.
Bridget.
She's oh yes, required viewing.
What's
Please.
her
Thank
name?
you. Thank you, Bridget.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So I had. How do you feel about movies that are not in English?
We love them.
Fine, we love
We
them.
love
Okay, I am pretty sure that this is on Netflix. If it is not, I have a backup.
Okay, we've
But
done a
it
lot
is
of Korean
called.
films.
It is not Korean.
Okay.
It is called Lagan, or Lagan Mitwa is what you might need to look for to pull up the right one. Lagaan.
Okay.
It is a an Indian movie that I loved. I saw it when I was in high school, and I was like, "This is the best."
So it's a little bit older.
It is. It is a little bit older, and Bollywood in general has not come very far in comparison to this. But it is simultaneously like a love triangle romance, but also sort of the story of how cricket helped at least one village gain its sort of independence from British rule. So it takes place during British occupied India, and it looks like around the 40s, maybe 30s, 40s.
It's interesting that you say that 'cause
Lagan.
just
But
kinda-
it is about cricket. It's kind of like an Indian sports movie.
Whatever. I love Bend It Like Beckham,
If
which
you
is not
guys-
really Indian, but still it's fun.
If you guys do watch this, please watch the amazing Netflix original called Explained. It is like mini docs every week. They release one every Wednesday, and I'm so excited because this week they released one on cricket.
Hey,
so I'm gonna
cool.
go watch
Boom.
that. It's
They're only
15
15 minutes.
long,
There we go.
and I'm gonna go watch your movie so I understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's an interest. It's fun.
Okay, so spell it one more time.
It's campy. Lagan. Lagaan.
Cool.
So Lagan.
So that's what we're watching,
Very
and
cool.
we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
Thanks for the
Awesome.
recommendation. Well, I'll thank you. Maybe thank you next week. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, hey, I could have recommended Dilse, but I didn't. Or Kuch Kuch Hotae. They are other. They are other
Literally
Indian
speaking another
films.
language.
Literally speaking another language. Dilse is a tragedy, romantic tragedy about terrorism in India. And then Kuch Kuch Hotae is like a ridiculous like college romance, and then the mom dies, and she's like, oh, but she leaves a letter for the daughter, and is like, you need to get your father to talk to his best friend. He hasn't talked to her in years. Her name is Anjali, and she's like, that's my name.
So is in your off time you watch Indian romance? Is that what you're doing?
No, I watched these all in high school.
Oh, okay. You had a phase.
I did not have a
I
phase.
don't think everybody goes into
I had a
Indian romance
teacher.
phase.
There we go.
I had a teacher who really loved sort of Bollywood films, so I got exposed to quite a few of them, and I do love them. Most of them have Shah Rukh Khan in them. This one of the few that does not. So
cool.
Nice.
Thank you. All right, we'll see. We'll watch that. We'll talk about it next week. Now it is the end of Screen Source. We already did the names. We already did everything else. Like, share, subscribe, follow, all the verbs. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.
I was like, how's that go again?